My names are Sylvia Nyamuhungu, and I'm an East African girl who also grew up in Michigan, West Michigan to be specific. I was born in Tanzania and grew up in Kenya as a refugee. I spent the first 15 years of my life as a refugee in East Africa and then moved to West Michigan about 13 years ago. So I got to go to high school and kind of continued growing up here. So I consider myself a community organizer. I didn't even know what that was when I first got my first job as a community organizer. Yeah, I remember doing the interview and I was like, what am I interviewing for? All I knew is that I had a lot of issues that were impacting my community and I wanted to do something about it. I was tired of going to different spaces like the DHS and like the schools and the health department and getting the same response. We can't do anything about it. It's how the system is set up. We can't do anything about it. It's how things are set up. And that to me, I was like, no, we can't just this is not it. Like, something needs to be done more, because obviously the way the system is set up is not serving my community. We still are in need of so many things. So organizing was something that gave me hope around issues that felt like they were not solvable. I would challenge our community in West Michigan to be more intentional about creating relationships with people from an immigrant background, but also even for immigrants too, like making and building community with people from different backgrounds as well, because there's a lot that we can learn from each other. But I also say, like, our community should know, like, I don't want to say this, but it's true. Immigrants are very hardworking. Immigrants are people that, just like any other human being who's invested in building something for their family, who's invested in creating a better community, we come with those things, even though we might have language barrier and cultural differences. At the core of it, we all want to have a great place and a great experience for our kids, people that we care about, and things like that. So at the core of it, I think we have a lot in common. Yeah, I would also say, like, I don't know, immigrants, like I said, we're not a monolith. They're immigrants that come here with skills that, like, people who are doctors, people who are lawyers back in their countries, and unfortunately we're not able to do that once we get here because of just how the systems are structured. So you find somebody who was a teacher back home, like both my parents were teachers, get to work as janitors, and they get to work in manufacturing companies, all very respectful jobs, but still do not really highlight the true skills that some of the immigrants come to West Michigan with. So there's that too. My vision and what I would like to see happening more in West Michigan is just more investment and support for immigrant youth, like having more resources invested in ESL, having more resources invested in even college, like the high school to college pipeline, like applying for college and all that stuff, finding scholarships, more investment for that. For my future, I'm looking forward to building on the work that I've been doing, organizing and advocating for immigrants and refugees. And with that, growing in my skills. So a little bit of that might look like me going back to school and getting more skills that way, but also a little bit looks like my current job, where I am working, organizing African immigrants across the country around issues that are impacting them. Moving to the US as a young 15-year-old from a different country impacts your view on how you see the world, but also how you live in the US and with all that the US has to offer too. So I have interest in that, like investing in youth. So yeah, I still feel like there's still so much more to discover about me and about this world that we live in. I want to acknowledge that it's not easy being a young immigrant in the United States, but also just a young person in the world in general, with how things are. But I also feel like it's okay to take a break. It's okay to reflect and like refuel and take care of yourself, invest in yourself. Because one thing I'm learning more even for myself is that if I don't have my cup full, if I have not invested in myself, like I'm no use for the issues I care about, the community that I care about. When you look back 20, 30 years ago, things have not been the same, and things will not continue to be the same. But part of that is we have a role to play in it. And it's difficult to see that clear path and the role that we have to play in when everything else is so loud that says that we do not. And that's why it's important to surround yourself with people and places and things that will encourage you and that will show you that there's a role that you have to play and that you belong and that you are part of this world, you're part of this community, and that you matter, your journey matters, and it's needed. So yeah, we're becoming more together. The world is, I think, evolving, and we're no longer segregated in our own countries, in our own communities. We all have to learn how we can live together. And I feel like young people, if anything, have a better understanding of that, and we need more of us in the spaces to create that welcoming space.